The vicious swarming attack of Kenneth Lee happened right around here in downtown Toronto in December of 2022. 8 girls between the ages of 13 and 16 at the time of the killing are accused in his murder, and we've learned a lot of new details as their cases are working through the youth criminal justice system. 3 of the girls have taken plea deals, 1 other is expected to, while the remaining 4 are headed to trial. I want to break down some of the new details that we know, along with what special considerations go into plea deals and why some of the girls are headed to trial. But a warning, some of what we've learned is disturbing. For example, an employee of the Strathcona Hotel, the shelter where Lee had spent time, intervened that night, pushing and pulling girls off of him. And she described the ferocity of the attack as if they were a bunch of wolves on top of a piece of meat. Shortly after the attack, all 8 girls were charged with second-degree murder. And in May of this year, after a preliminary hearing, the juvenile court judge, Justice David Rose, committed all the girls to go to a jury trial. 6 of them, though, for second-degree murder and 2 for manslaughter. Lee's autopsy determined the 59-year-old suffered 19 blunt force trauma injuries and died from a stab wound that had pierced his heart. The 3-minute and 20-second attack against Lee was captured on security footage. That was shown in the preliminary hearing. And generally speaking, the girls who have pleaded guilty thus far have agreed that they were drunk and high that night. And even though they don't remember much or all of what happened, they have agreed with the Crown based off what the video shows. The first plea deal happened on May 30th. The girl, who was 13 at the time, pleaded guilty to manslaughter, and in an agreed statement of fact, she agreed Lee confronted the girls after they took a bottle of alcohol from his friend, and then the swarming began. She admitted she hit, punched, kicked, and spat on Lee while he lay pinned and helpless in a planter. This June, a second pleaded guilty to assault causing bodily harm and assault with a weapon. A third pleaded guilty to manslaughter, and police say they found in her purse a wrench, pepper spray, and a pink taser. Both of them agreeing to many of the same violent facts as the first accused. All 3 of these girls will be sentenced later this year and agreed at no time did they hold the knife used to kill Lee. Meantime, when it comes to the 4 girls headed to court, 2 are the eldest, both 16 at the time, and one of those 4 would be the one accused of stabbing Lee. The case raises so many significant questions around plea deals and the youth criminal justice system, so we sought out the expertise of a criminal defense lawyer to help us understand. When we look at the girls who are going to be going to trial, what factors are sticking out to you?
The girls that are going forward are over the age of 14, and in order for the Crown to bring an application to try the youths as adults, you must be at the age of 14. And I understand all of the girls who are going to trial are over that threshold age of 14 years old. I also understand that one of the defendants is the person who is alleged to have committed the stabbing itself. And I also understand that 2 of the defendants are the eldest of the group. So those are some of the factors that I see that are specific to the fact that they're the ones who are going to trial.
What are some of the factors and some of the considerations that would have been taken in terms of whether or not a plea deal would be presented and then be accepted by the accused?
There's a lot of factors that go into why a Crown might give a plea bargain offer to one defendant and not another. One reason is that the Crown might believe that some of the defendants are more morally culpable than others. They may also believe that they have a stronger case for murder against some of the defendants and not others. And there can be other factors, like if some of the defendants have sympathetic backgrounds or input from the victim's family, or even if some of the defendants had already had some contact with the criminal justice system. So these are all things that the Crown can consider. And the defense also makes a similar assessment. If the defense believes that the Crown cannot prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt, they may not be in a position to take a plea bargain offer. And if the defendant says they're not guilty, it doesn't matter what the lesser and included offense is. They can only plead guilty if indeed they are guilty.
In a case like this, we have the 8 accused here, some of them now going to trial, others of them have pleaded guilty and will not go to a full trial. How will those kind of plea deals impact the ones who are going to trial?
One thing that really sticks out at me, Chris, is that now there's a possibility that some of the girls who pleaded guilty could be called to testify against the defendants who are going to trial. If they are tried together, The Crown cannot compel one to testify against the other. The defense can call their own client to testify in their own defense and potentially testify against other defendants. But if they're tried together, the prosecutor cannot do that. But now that there are defendants who have pleaded guilty and that they're separate, they can be called to testify. And I understand that the girls even gave their guilty pleas under oath. And so that suggests to me that there's a very real possibility that they could be called to testify against the remaining alleged offenders.
Now, in addition to the security footage of the incident, we also know another piece of evidence likely to be used in the trial. At the same time as Lee was receiving emergency care at St. Michael's Hospital, the group of girls was allegedly still in the downtown and videotaped themselves dancing happily on the sidewalk. And while we know they are headed to trial, it's unclear yet when exactly that's going to start. Chris Glover, CBC News, Toronto.